but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Psalm 16:3. David shifts from acknowledging his relationship with God to describing his connection with God's people. The word "but" creates a contrast with the previous verse. While David's goodness extends no benefit to God, it does impact fellow believers on earth. The term saints refers to those set apart for God's purposes. In the Old Testament context, this includes faithful Israelites who worship the true God and follow His commands. While not flawless, saints are dedicated to God's glory. Their holiness comes from God's work in their lives rather than their own moral achievements. David recognizes these individuals as his spiritual family. The phrase, "that are in the earth," emphasizes the present reality of God's people living in this world. David doesn't speak of departed saints or future believers, but of contemporary followers of God who share his earthly journey. These saints face the same challenges, temptations, and struggles that David experiences. They live in a fallen world while maintaining their commitment to God's ways. Their presence provides encouragement and accountability for faithful living. David calls these believers the excellent. This word describes those who are noble. Their excellence doesn't come from social status or personal achievements, but from their relationship with God and commitment to His purposes. Excellence in God's kingdom differs from worldly standards. While the world values wealth, power, and fame, God measures excellence through faithfulness, obedience, and love. These saints show spiritual nobility through their character and conduct. The phrase, "in whom is all my delight," reveals David's deep affection for fellow believers. The word delight suggests pleasure, joy, and satisfaction. David finds genuine happiness in the company of God's people. This delight flows from shared values, common purpose, and mutual encouragement. When believers gather, they strengthen each other's faith and provide support during difficult times. David experiences joy through these relationships. The word "all" emphasizes the completeness of David's delight in the saints. His greatest earthly pleasure comes from fellowship with those who share his love for God. This preference shapes his social choices and personal relationships. David's attitude contrasts with those who find their primary satisfaction in worldly pursuits. His delight in the saints reflects his spiritual priorities and values. The principle of Christian fellowship remains central to New Testament teaching. Hebrews 10:25 instructs believers, "not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as ye see the day approaching." Believers need regular interaction with other Christians for spiritual growth and encouragement. The Church provides this community where saints can support, challenge, and strengthen each other in their faith journey. Contemporary Christians often struggle with finding their primary delight in fellow believers. The world offers many attractive relationships and social opportunities that can compete with Christian fellowship. David's example challenges believers to prioritize relationships with those who share their spiritual values. This doesn't mean avoiding all contact with unbelievers, but rather finding our deepest satisfaction and closest friendships among those who love God. These relationships provide accountability, encouragement, and spiritual growth that worldly friendships cannot offer. The excellence David sees in the saints reminds modern believers to recognize the spiritual nobility of fellow Christians. Rather than focusing on their flaws and failures, we should appreciate their position in Christ and their commitment to following Him. When believers gather for worship, Bible study, or fellowship, they take part in the same dynamic that brought David such delight. These relationships reflect our eternal unity in Christ and provide a foretaste of heavenly fellowship.